Now, if you have the money to fly business class and you're going to do it and you want a guaranteed seat, obviously pay for it ahead of time. But this is my trick. Don't tell anybody this, of how I'm always able to get really super cheap business class on international flights. On domestic flights, oftentimes they'll do a bidding war for like seat upgrades and stuff like that, but they don't usually do that for the business class because the business class is a long flight and they make a lot of money doing it, right? So what I do is, and this is for international flights, and I could show you how I did it this year as well as last year on the way to Paris. So 1 hour before boarding. Is it boarding or takeoff? It's takeoff, right? Yeah, before takeoff. Okay, so if your takeoff is at 2:30 p.m., you're through security, you're getting ready to go there at 1:31 p.m. And you gotta obviously be nice, don't be a dickhead. You go up to the counter. It's boarding? I think it's boarding. Yeah, let me try that again. Because that's when I did it. Okay, let's try this again. For international flights, 1 hour before boarding, okay, they closed the front desk at the front of the airport. So obviously you have, your entrance to the airport here with all the desks. You have security, and then you have the terminal, right? And then here's your plane, okay? You get through this, you go all through this. 1 hour before boarding, they close this desk off, right? In that case, they have sold everything they're gonna sell, okay? They've already sold. They've already sold everything they're gonna sell. They're not selling any new tickets. That means whatever is the people that are beyond security right now, or people that have previously bought tickets that are coming through, that's it, okay? So what you do is you go up to the desk, right? Right before when they're getting cleared up and before they start boarding and announcements, they're there. They're looking over their manifest and they're looking for standbys and flight crew stuff like that. You just walk up and you don't pressure them. Just wait back in the line, and then when they're doing it, you just say, "Hi, 1 second, please." No problem. And then you look around, then you walk up. You're very nice, and you say, "Hey, so I've got this flight." You can say whatever you want, but it's usually nice to just be honest. Say, so I'm flying, and I realized that, I saw that there were some available seats. I was wondering, do you guys have anything in business class that I could upgrade to? I don't want it for free. I'm more than willing to pay for it. Well, let me tell you how this works. Oftentimes, especially on a flight that's overbooked, because just like in hotels, they'll overbook the lower, cheaper stuff, right? In the anticipation that they're going to have to upgrade some people in case these other ones don't get filled up, right? So they're most likely going to have to upgrade some of these seats anyways, all right? Humans hate to see other people get things for free. I don't know why, right? You see someone get something for no reason that they don't deserve, they didn't do, and you get it, it makes you upset. I don't know why, okay? And this isn't going on YouTube, because if I wanted to, I would do it like a lot more like, But humans hate this. Not everybody, but for the most part. People hate it when someone else gets something that they, like, for example, look what happened when all the people who paid off their student loans saw younger people get $10,000 initially, forgiven. Didn't affect them in any way, but they hated it, right? People who are sitting at a red light, they're 9 or 10 cars back, and they see a motorcycle kind of zipper through to the front. They hate that person. It's not going to affect them in any way, but they hate it. It's like, it's not fair. I had to wait here. They don't. Humans don't like that. Oftentimes, the person that's at the flight, especially if they've been working there a long time and they're at the desk, they're going to see somebody get the upgrade, and that person's not going to be appreciative, or they've seen a lot of people not be appreciative in the past or whatever. They just hate the idea that this doesn't happen to me. Why does this person who paid, $97 for a flight get a free, upgrade or whatever? It's natural. Not everybody, but it's a natural human reaction, especially when you're in a mundane job and you work. Listen, if you've ever worked in retail or hospitality, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you're probably like, that's not true, Stocky, okay? You've seen it all the time. Right? I've seen people where I give them an upgrade and they're so ecstatic and they're happy, or they give me a big tip or something. That's great. But the other people are like, "Oh, yeah? Okay, cool." You're like, "Bro, I'm giving you the penthouse." Shit. It's like, what? Like, what do you like, bro, be I'm not saying you got to suck it, but be happy or whatever. Or they go up there and then they trash it. You know what I mean? Whatever. All right. Back to what I was saying. So you go up to the front desk and you say, it's an hour after or hour before boarding happens. Okay. So now they're done selling tickets. No new tickets are going to be issued. You go up there and you say, "Hi, I'm traveling, so and so." You'd be nice. I usually make a joke with them or make them, because being friendly, because I worked in the industry. But you say, "So I was wondering, is there any upgrades available?" And then instead of leaving it at that, you say, "Are there any upgrades available? I'm more than happy to pay." Well, a lot of those people are either A, glad that somebody's going to pay for it, because then they feel like nobody's getting shit for free, B, they don't feel like somebody's ungrateful for it. And C, a lot of times they get incentivized or they could get a kickback from that. So they're happy to do so. And oftentimes there's a set rate for that upgrade after the tickets have been sold, right? If it, for example, for me to fly one way from Miami to Paris, it was $1,800. Oh, I'm sorry, round trip, it was $1,800. If I wanted business class, it was $6,500. I went, and I still have the ticket stub right here, actually, because I was using this as an example for something the other day. Instead of paying $6,500, there was no way I was going to pay that, right? There's no justification for me to pay that for a business class. So I went to the front desk and I was being really nice to the guy, and I said, do you have any, upgrades available, whatever? And I was just talking. I was by myself. You could see I didn't have a big family or anything like that. And I made a couple jokes. We were laughing about it. And I said, he says, I'll have to check. I said, yeah, that's fine. I'm more than happy to pay for it. So I did that before everybody else got in line. He wasn't over rushed. He didn't have a lot of things. He wasn't like, I wasn't holding up the line. He had a moment. He talked to some people and he says, yeah. So I just talked to them. We do have one available. Now, they know I'm not going to pay full price for it, because if that was the case, I would have bought the ticket initially, or I would have paid for it, as an upgrade to the thing. This airline wants to make money, right? They know that they're not going to be able to get that extra $2,000 for that flight to go there, but there is a minimum that they will take. And in this case, it was $590. I absolutely fucking took that. So I paid an extra $590. I got my business trip, my business class thing there. I got to lay down. I had my own TV. I got full meals, the whole 16-hour flight or whatever it was there. On the way back, I did the same thing. An hour before, I went up to the desk to Air France, and I asked them, I said, I was being polite with them. I was, was by myself there. And this one actually took longer because they were having an issue with the way to do the upgrade. They wouldn't let me do it with my credit card there. I had to go into an app, and then on the app, I had to do whatever. But they gave it to me for $680. So I paid $1,800, all right? And it cost me an additional $1,350 or $60 to do it. So it cost me a total of $3,250. That's how much it was going to cost me. Now, was I guaranteed to get it? No. I would have had to pay that if I was guaranteed to get it. But for $500-$600 for a 16-hour flight to be in business class versus the middle seat or the aisle seat in the fucking cramped thing in economy, it's worth the shot. And if you know how to do it and what you're doing, your odds of booking that at a significant discount are very, very good, because they want to pay. They want somebody to pay for that upgrade. Once that front desk closes an hour before boarding, they're not selling any more tickets, so they can't sell those first class or business class tickets anymore. So they've either got to upgrade somebody, leave it empty, and let me tell you something, they do not want to leave seats empty, or they sell it. They would rather get that $600 than nothing. Because let me tell you something, if that seat sits empty, they're making zero. Sure, they're going to give me a couple dollars worth of food and shit like that, but they're still going to clear an additional $500 for nothing. And I'm getting a big discount. Or you just get status through work and wait for a free upgrade. Okay, well, obviously this person doesn't have a business or work that they work through that they have that option or opportunity, and this is a guaranteed or at least a better option than waiting and hoping. You're still not paying $590 for that, LOL? As somebody who refused to ever do something like this until recently, I'm going to tell you this right now. You're already in the hole for $1,800. 16 hours sitting like this versus like that. No, you're not all three in there unless you want to be. Okay, having your own private thing with a door, with TV, with a little fridge, headsets, a bed, blankets, the whole 9 yards, and nobody next to you and being able to sleep and lay down and be comfortable. I am not about spending a lot of money. I'm very, very tight when it comes to a lot of things. When it comes to $600 for 16 hours, you're talking about sitting in one spot without being able to move and having to wait and do all that right there. And you're talking about what? $40 an hour? If you're telling me that you're not worth $40 an hour for comfort and ability to enjoy and at least get some sleep or whatever, and if you are writing on a business or you're writing it off, it is technically a business write-off if you have a good CPA, because you need to sleep because you've got events to go to and you need to get some sleep, and you can't sleep, cramped in a little thing. Depends on how good your CPA is and what kind of event it is, but you never know. Now, I don't do that shit on domestic flights. Number one, you don't have this option because they're all doing that little bid things, bid up. And number two, when I flew to, I know you're checking yourself out, but you're checking yourself out in the mirror naked and I'm sitting here. You can't do that. So what was I saying? Domestic flights. So domestic flights, I'm not going to pay $300, $400, $500, $700 for a bigger seat for a 4-hour flight. No. But international, 16 hours at $40 an hour, and the difference between these two, of course I'm going to. Justifying business class, what has the financial pod space come to? You act like I'm out here paying $8,000 to sit in that seat. I book economy, and if I'm stuck in economy, I stay in it. Was a whiteboard really necessary for this? Why is everybody so fucking angry right now? If I talk about anything that has to do with above the bare minimum, it's like, oh, these rich fucking 1%ers and flexing their shit. I'm telling you right now that I was willing to fly 16 hours in a middle seat if they wanted to charge me like 1,500. All right, like I'm not gonna. That's not worth it to me. But 500, I'll do. We don't celebrate genocide like we used to, but